Good evening, everyone. It is pleasure to welcome you all to this special lecture on Women's Day, jointly organized by the Department of Political Science and its association of Shama Prasad Mukherjee College and SHD Research Foundation. So we are honored to have with us uh, Dr. Aditi Narayani, Assistant Professor, Lakshmi Bai College, DU, and founder of DAPSA. She is our chief guest for today, and Dr. Apika Sharma. She is economist and consultant in Niti Aayog, our guest of honor today. Dr. Neha Sinha, Senior Fellow SHDRF, and Dr. Kiran Tripathi ma'am, our association in charge. Dr. Sanjeev sir, our teacher in charge. So, a warm welcome to all the faculty members, students, and attendees. To set the context and begin, I now invite our moderator, Dr. Amna Mirza ma'am, our associate professor. So, Dr. Amna Mirza ma'am, over to you.
धन्यवाद चारू, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और आज के अंतर्राष्ट्रीय महिला दिवस के उपलक्ष्य हेतु इस बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण वैचारिक मंथन में सबका स्वागत है। A warm welcome to each and all on the very important lecture commemorating International Women's Day। शुरुआत में ही हम एक बात कह दें कि हमारे लिए तो हर दिन महिला दिवस है, क्योंकि जो नारी शक्ति का नमन और वंदन है वो किसी एक प्रत्येक दिन का वो मोहताज नहीं है। हमारी संस्कृति, हमारा धरोहर सदा ही नारी शक्ति के प्रति समर्पित है और नारी शक्ति को सदा आगे बढ़ाने में विश्वास रखता है। फिर भी once again greetings, namaskar, good evening to each and all. It is indeed a matter of great honor for me to welcome everyone on behalf of Department of Political Science and our association Politia and SHD Research Foundation to this important webinar. We, at the outset, with the blessings of our patron, our principal, Professor Sadhna Sharma ma'am, we extend all our good wishes and greetings. आप सबको अंतर्राष्ट्रीय महिला दिवस की खूब सारी शुभकामनाएं. We welcome the chairperson for the session, Dr. Neha Sinha ji, Senior Fellow, SHDRF, Assistant Professor, Department of Political Science, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University. Neha ji, warm welcome. We are very delighted to welcome amongst us our very dear, once again, she need no introduction because we all are fan of her writings and important views. Dr. Aditi Narayani ji, chief guest for today at this dedicated academician at the Lakshmi Bai College, University of Delhi, and founder DAPSA. Aditi ji, once again, namaskar, warm welcome.
It's
And
so
we
good to
welcome.
see you.
Likewise, Aditi ji, likewise. And yes, we are very delighted to welcome our guest of honor, the very erudite Dr. Apika Sharma ji, the economist and consultant at Niti Aayog, Government of India. She's also been there with the Reserve Bank of India. Apika, once again, greetings, warm welcome. I also welcome once again our teacher in charge, Dr. Sanjeev ji, again a very committed academician towards various important aspects of social sciences. We welcome Dr. Kiran Tripathi ji, our association in charge. I can also see right now that we have Dr. Urmil Vats madam. Once again, ma'am, मैं आपको नमस्कार करती हूँ. And let me see, I welcome Dr. Neha ji again, Ajay Kumar ji, and Dr. JP ji, Shafat ji, Namita ji, warm welcome. Tulika ma'am from Department of Education, please accept Anubhuti ji, Priyanka, all the wonderful people who are there. आप सबका मैं अगर मैं किसी का नाम मिस आउट कर रही हूँ तो वो मेरी थोड़ी सी क्षमा को आप करेंगे, लेकिन once again हर्ष जी, संजीव जी, सबका बहुत बहुत स्वागत. Now, when we talk about International Women's Day, of course, we will be hearing from our very distinguished resource persons. अंतर्राष्ट्रीय महिला दिवस पे जब आज हम संगोष्ठी पे हैं तो मैं मैथिली चरण गुप्त जी के महाकाव्य रचना यशोधरा से कुछ पंक्तियों से आज के कार्यक्रम की शुरुआत करना चाहती हूँ, और दो लाइन जो एक महिला की पीड़ा को कहीं ना कहीं बताते हैं. और मैथिली चरण गुप्त जी की महाकाव्य रचना यशोधरा से दो ये पंक्तियां प्रस्तुत. अबला जीवन तेरी हाय यही कहानी, आंचल में है दूध और आंखों में पानी, जिसको महादेवी वर्मा की पंक्तियां, मैं नीर भरी दुख की बदली, ये कविता कहीं ना कहीं कि समाज में हम सब लोग निस्संदेह समान हैं, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं जो हमारी प्राकृतिक रचना है, आवर बायोलॉजिकल कंस्ट्रक्शन विच इज नेचुरल, विच इज गिवन, somewhere becomes a form of social construct. And of course, निस्संदेह अगर हम संस्कृति में देखें, साहित्य में देखें, सशक्त महिलाएं सदा विश्व को सशक्त बनाती हैं, और आज महिलाओं के इस योगदान जो है, जो अनमोल है, उन्हें हम आज ही नहीं सदा उन्हें नमन करते हैं, और उनके सम्मान, शक्तिकरण और प्रेरणा के लिए हमेशा अपनी बात रखते हैं. सो when we reflect on this year's theme, accelerate action, which is about that, and this year's theme again, dear friends, becomes important because this is the 30th anniversary when we reflect on from the 1995 Beijing Declaration. So, no doubt, when we look at the global perspective, when we look at the national framework, we have come a long way from women development or empowerment. Today, yes, we are talking about women led development, looking at the bigger picture of participatory governance. So, once again, greetings to everyone on this very special occasion. And without further ado, I would first take the permission of our chairperson, Dr. Neha ji. आपकी आज्ञा सहित मैं आज सबसे पहले हमारे जो टीचर इंचार्ज हैं, डॉक्टर संजीव जी, उनको मैं आमंत्रित करना चाहती हूँ. संजीव जी, वेलकम एड्रेस फ्रॉम योर साइड.
थैंक यू आमना जी, आमना मैम, थैंक यू वेरी मच. मैं नेहा जी का, अदिति जी का, अपिका जी और हमारे डिपार्टमेंट के सारे कलीग्स, प्रिंसिपल साधना मैम और स्टूडेंट्स डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ पॉलिटिकल साइंस, श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी कॉलेज, साथ साथ दूसरी डिपार्टमेंट के स्टूडेंट्स भी जुड़े हैं, और हमारे जो एसएचटी रिसर्च फाउंडेशन के इंटर्न्स एंड फैकल्टी मेंबर्स भी इस प्रोग्राम में जुड़े हैं, और कुछ हमारे दोस्त भी इसमें जुड़े हैं अलग अलग संस्थाओं में जो पढ़ा रहे हैं. तो बहुत अच्छा ये इवेंट है, और आप लोग एक्सपर्ट हैं इसमें. अदिति जी लगातार इंडियन एक्सप्रेस में लिखती रहती हैं, नेशनल इंटरनेशनल फोरम पे इनका रिप्रेजेंटेशन रहता है, और लगातार ये महिलाओं की जो मुद्दे हैं उस पर लगातार बात रखती रहती हैं. तो हम लोग बहुत फॉर्चुनेट हैं, वी आर वेरी ब्लेस्ड टू हैव Aditi ji as a guest of, chief guest of this event, and Dr. Neha Sinha, she has been a very important person, academician who is working on South Africa. So मैडम का बहुत एक्सपर्टाइज है, उसकी किताबें भी हैं उनकी, और नेहा जी ने आज चेयर करने के लिए अग्री किया, इसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. तो मैं आज मेरा समय नहीं है, आज हम लोग सुनेंगे अदिति जी, नेहा जी और अपिका जी को. और सबसे अच्छी बात है कि प्रोफेसर साधना शर्मा जो प्रिंसिपल हैं हमारी मैडम ने तुरंत हमें परमिशन दिया और बोला कि आप लोग जरूर इसको ऑर्गेनाइज करो. और वो आने वाली थी इवेंट में, लेकिन कहीं मेडिकल किसी का इमरजेंसी है, वहाँ पे गई है, अदरवाइज शी कैन ज्वाइन एनी टाइम. सो विल बी वेटिंग फॉर हर ऑल्सो. सो ऑल द बेस्ट एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर बीइंग हियर. थैंक यू मैडम.
धन्यवाद संजीव जी. सो वंस अगेन आज के इस वेबिनार में सबका स्वागत है. एंड नाउ विद द परमिशन ऑफ आवर चेयर डॉक्टर नेहा जी, आई वुड फर्स्ट रिक्वेस्ट डॉक्टर अपिका शर्मा जी फॉर द एड्रेस. बट बिफोर दैट आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट चारू.
Dr. Apika Sharma ma'am today is our guest of honor. She's from IP College for Women, Delhi University. She has done Bachelor of Commerce BCom from Punjab University, Masters of Arts MA in Economics, from Discipline of Economics School of Social Sciences. She has done her PhD in Economics, Indira Gandhi National Open University, and also Doctor of Philosophy. She is Doctor of Philosophy, PhD in Economics. She is right now working as Assistant Professor in IILM University, and she is also Economist Consultant of Niti Aayog. And she was also a Research Fellow of the Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance, Government of India, and was Assistant Professor in Delhi University. So she is a remarkable person, and today her thoughts would be very insightful for us. So let's
Right. Thank you, Taji, please.
Thank you so much, Charu. Thank you, Dr. Amna. Thank you, Professor Sanjeev, and all the faculty members for having me. It is an honor and a pleasure for me to be surrounded by academicians. I simply love being around academicians, even though most of my experience till now, after my research, has been in policy. But for one semester, I have taught in IILM MBA Business Finance, but it is always a pleasure to be surrounded by academicians, and eventually I will move back to academics. But right now I am enjoying my policy making time at the Niti Aayog. So, on the occasion of Women's Day, when we come to talking about women in economics, I think what I have observed by far is that women in economics, they're contributing a lot in academics. So we have a lot of professors in academics, very well published papers. They have the researchers, they're really good researchers. But at the same time, what I have observed is that women in India especially, they do not go into policy making a lot. So now when I see policy makers at the RBI or the Ministry of Finance or at the Niti Aayog, most of the leaders are men, and it is dominated by men. But what I feel is women are really good policy makers if they come into policy making. I'd just like to mention few names, Indian women who are really good policymakers. Geeta Gopinath, she's the first deputy managing director of the IMF. She has made significant contributions to international finance and macroeconomics, focusing on exchange rates. Jayati Ghosh, she's a renowned development economist. She is an academician, but at the same time, she has contributed a lot to the policy. Then we have Beena Agarwal, ma'am, known for her work on land rights and gender. Then we have Ishar Judge Ahluwalia, ma'am. She's an influential economist known for her work on urban development. These days, we see urban development needs a lot of focus in policy making, but very few policymakers focus on that. Then we have Devaki Jain, ma'am, an economist and activist. She focused on issues related to women empowerment, poverty, and development, and she made very significant contributions in the policy making. Rohini Pandey, ma'am, she's an economist known for her research on governance and accountability. She has worked on various issues, including environmental regulation, health, and education in developing countries. Then we have Ila Patnaik, ma'am, a macroeconomist and policy advisor. She has contributed with her research on financial markets, monetary policy, and economic reforms in India. So basically, what I feel, there are women economists there in the policy making, but we need more of them, a lot more of them, because they are extremely great policy makers. It I think for women, policy making is an instinct. They are, if they are very good with numbers, they come out as really good policy makers, because somebody who can manage a house really well can manage the policies really well. But women do not come out in policy making a lot, especially in the leadership roles. So it is very important that they come out in the leadership roles there. And for that, what I feel is networking and mentorship, right? Mentorship, it's very important. There has to be a system and a structure whereby women, we develop a network system in for women economists in India, or a mentorship program, which whereby the young economists can benefit a lot. Because once you have the right guidance and the direction, I think things become a very easy thing to flow. Then celebrating women economists is also very important. I think that's exactly what we are doing, and supporting each other. I think the support comes very naturally once we make our own efforts. So that is very important to be done. And we need a lot of Indian women in policy making. We are all academicians right here. Most of us are academicians right here. But it's very, very, very important to push women into policy making, because what I feel is we publish a lot of research, but when it comes to action oriented work, the policymakers have that power to do it, to get things implemented. And once you see your research getting implemented and impact being made actually in the society, it gives you a very gratifying feeling and a sense of great empowerment. So with this, I'd like to end it here, and I'd like to request the academicians to really push women in their classrooms to move into policy making, because they can make really big changes. To that, I'd just like to end, and I'd like to thank Dr. Amna for having me here. It is a pleasure to be here with you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Apika ji, for that very important thing.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. It is an honor to welcome Dr. Aditi Narayani, ma'am, a dedicated academician, social entrepreneur, and policy consultant. She holds a BA in history from St. Stephen College, MA in sociology, Delhi School of Economics, and MPhil from JNU. With 9 years of experience as an assistant professor at the University of Delhi, she has shaped young minds in social sciences. Beyond academia, she is a core committee member at Vanchit Pratisthan, a national skill development NGO, and a consultant at FICCI. Her work in women's empowerment led to the creation of a self-help group and skill training center, uplifting many. We are privileged to have her with us today. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Aditi Narayani, ma'am. So, Aditi, ma'am, over to you.
Thank you so much, Charu, for such a kind introduction. It was really kind of you to do so much of research on me, which I also completely forgot, but thank you so much. And I'm really, really thankful, and it's an absolute honor and delight to be a part of this lecture where we are celebrating women, which is organized by SPM College, where Sanjeev sir, who has actually mentored me also in my academia and always been there for me whenever I need any help in academia to invite me. Amna ma'am, who herself is an inspiration. Like she's inspired. I've heard her speaking, and the way her oratory skills has just inspired generations, I'm telling you. So it's an absolute honor for me to be a part of this lecture, and my dear friend Neha is here, and all the other faculty members who are here at SPM College. Thank you so much for making me a part of it. And thank you so much, Neha ma'am. After listening to you, I have also Googled about you, so it's an absolute honor to share the dais with you. And Apika ji, what you said is an
Likewise.
thank you, ma'am. And Apika ji, what you said is absolutely right. That we need women more participation in all the aspects of whether it's policy making, social, political, cultural. But today the lecture which I'm going to start on, not exactly lecture, kind of a thing that, as Amna ma'am had said, that the theme for this Women's Day is accelerating growth for enhancing gender equality. Now the question is, what is gender equality? What are we fighting for? What are we fighting for? The differences that is between a male and a female, the biological differences? Or are we fighting for the equality of opportunity? Are we fighting the accessibility to response to opportunities? What is our fight? That's the first thing. Like, we need to recognize what our fight is about. Are we, or it is just about celebrating, that men and women are different and we have our own roles that we have to impart? Is it about that? But let's first start. I'm just giving you because from past 1 month, I have almost spoken to like 100 and 150 working women. So I'm just going to give you a start, which I've written also today, that I spoke to 150 women, and all of them said me one thing, that and all of them, let's assume 150 couple, both of them are working, both of them are middle aged with same degree. And how does the day start? Let's start with gender equality from our home. So they wake up at 6 o'clock, open the door for the maid. The maid is there to cook the food. Then look in the fridge, what is there in the fridge, what is not there in the fridge. Ask the maid to cook. Then the food is done. Then make breakfast for the husband, help assist the maid, and then get ready for her office. Meanwhile, what our partners are doing, lying on the bed, waiting for the hot tea to be served, reading Indian Express, Hindustan Times, and talking about world politics. So the day the how we start the day is actually defines that how are we going to, what is the routine of our life. So in the morning, when one person is getting that intellectual stimulation by reading about world politics and 10 other things, and we start our day with looking into the fridge, that what is there which is getting stale or not, we really can't be on the same platform. Like, you can't judge both male and female on the same platform, because a starting point and a gendered role is so deeply entrenched in us now that we can't be equal. That's the very first thing. So we need to deconstruct this idea of equality. What is our role? Even for the children, when I talk to my children, most of the students, they tell me, ki ma'am, when we wake up in the morning, we have to do our household work, and then we come to the college. It is an added responsibility, which is a good thing, because if we are able to balance that, it's an absolutely a great thing. But the debate here is, where do we put ourselves in the debate of being a breadwinner or the debate of being a caregiver? What role are we doing right now? Being a breadwinner, I'm going out, I'm earning, I'm contributing in the finances of the house. Being a caregiver, I have to have this multiple roles of being a great mother, great wife, son-in-law, daughter-in-law, daughter. And this multifaceted role that a woman is expected to follow, somewhere all of us are burdened with it. All of us feel burdened, and we're losing the essence, what our individual essence of being a woman is. We've just lost it amidst all this idea of proving ourselves that we are the great hustlers, we are the great juggling person, we can juggle. And we're imposed with this idea that wow, what a superwoman she is. Oh ma, she's able to take a metro, go to office, cook food, teach students, come back, do her research. I don't understand why this over glorification for being a woman, of a overworked woman. She is overworked. We should stop glorifying that by putting her in a compartment and calling her that what a superwoman she is. I don't think women needs to be superwoman. Let's just be women. Let's just treat us like humans. What about our spiritual healing? What about our mental health? Where is it getting, is it being addressed? And we all are, I'll tell you one more incident. When I was working with NCW, I had the chance of talking to women who were victims of domestic violence. None of the women realized that they were victims. They told me, "Didi, ek do thappan mari deta hai to kya ho jata hai?" This statement, echoed that ek do thappan mari deta hai, because hum log ko, we have been deeply ingrained with the idea that चलता है तो चल रहा है. चलता एक जो attitude है ना कि चल रहा है कोई बात नहीं, you don't have to address that. So the first thing when we are addressing about domestic violence is that we need to make the woman realize that you are being violated. It is not normal for you to be beaten up. So that is the first step when that we have to take, that we need to deconstruct our conditioning. We have been conditioned in a way to sing. You just see normal things, and and it is not, I'm not giving you very outrageous ideas, but it's fine. We all are conditioned. Even I am conditioned. Let's assume it's a family table. My father needs a cup of water and my brother is there. It's just automatically very organic in me that I'll stand up and serve the water to my father. My brother is not going to stand up. That is the moment that I realized that it is so deeply ingrained in my head that this is the kind of socialization that we have, and it is passing on from one generation to the other generation. And then now comes the era that all of us are working, all of us are fighting for equality. So the first equality, the stage in this equality is like, we need to recognize ourselves. We need to we need to create that identity for ourselves. We need to have some space and time for our own individual self. And this narrative which is all going, that have it all, let's have it all, I'm a good dancer, I'm a good mother, I'm a good singer, have it all. It's absolutely fine to not have it all. It's absolutely fine. You don't have to come back and say that I failed, I terribly failed like this, I terribly failed. You don't have to, because all of us are humans. We also have a bandwidth to deal with things. And this is a first stage of equality and sashактикаран or empowerment or holistic empowerment that we're talking about. That you need to be comfortable with your own skin. You need to give yourself the time, the space to recognize, to create that identity for your own self. Once you have done, then you can explore the options that that whether you want to be a doctor, academician, policymaker, whatever you find your inner calling for. So that is the first step that all of us need to get in our head very clear. Now, talking about policy, what ma'am has spoken about, policy is a very important arena, but we need to develop the infrastructure which is women centric. We need to create the schemes which is women centric. We need to create the spaces safe which are women centric. the infrastructure of the world, the global order is such that it always supports the growth of women, of men. But there has been that change, and that change is a very welcome move that we have seen since 90s and 20s and Gen Z and all the different generations have going through. But we need to be active participant in this evolution which is happening, and this space transition which is happening. All of you must have read that, it's a day that all of us celebrating women. Or since morning, our honorable Prime Minister Modi has been tweeting about the great achievements of the woman. It's fine. We need to celebrate women, but we need to celebrate ordinary women like you and me, like the students here, like all the faculty here. We might be ordinary women, but we also need to be celebrated. And it is the day that we need to say, and we don't need a day to celebrate ourselves. We should, I think that, it's a day that you are coming out and saying that sisterhood should be there, womanhood should be there. Let's not restrict this sisterhood to one day. I'll tell you, Neha, who is one of the participants, we have been friends for almost 10 years. And we have stood by each other. That sisterhood that is there, that's very important for all of us. Because sisterhood and the womanhood is one thing which gives you that support. That, and I'll tell that to all the students in this girls' college, that you need to develop that network of surrounding you by strong women on whom you can bank upon, on whom you can create that network, that ecosystem, because they are the people who are going to be there. So I think I have spoken enough. So now I'll end my speech. I'll conclude here. But really, thank you so much for making me part and seeing and this plethora of all the beautiful and wonderful women gathering here. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Aditi. As usual, candid, clear, and that's perhaps something we all cherish and love about your writings also. And it's always a delight, like when I'm on my way to the university or something, when I get the input from Aditi that okay, this is my latest write-up. Aditi, it's just not a quick namaste that very instant, but that's the symbol that yes, I'm learning something from you. And yes, Aditi very rightly said, we need to look at the multiple dimensions of any gender issues, and the most important, solidarity, stronger together. I think accelerate action भी यही बात कर रहा है, that we need to think about collective progress. But for that, collective progress can, I mean, an important contour within that would be our solidarity, the ecosystem. Thanks, Aditi ji. And yes, with that, I would request our chairperson, Dr. Neha ji, and Charu, once again inviting you to introduce our chairperson. And after that, we once again telling everyone we'll be looking at the time. We will be having two quick questions. I would invite our students for that. And then, yes, a group photograph, a memorable group photograph. So for that, I would urge you all to that during that time, please switch on the camera. Charu, inviting you, please request our chairperson, Dr. Neha, for the summation remarks. Charu, please.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So, Dr. Neha Sinha, ma'am, a dedicated academician and researcher. She's a senior fellow at SHDRF and an assistant professor in Department of Political Science at Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. With her expertise in political science, she has significantly contributed to research and policy discussions. Her dedication to academia and in mentorship continues to inspire students and scholars alike. So we are honored to have her here with us today. So, Dr. Sinha ma'am, Dr. Neha Sinha ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Charu. Thank you, Amna ma'am. It's always a pleasure listening to you. And I must say that the two speakers that we had today evening, Dr. Aditi Narayani and Dr. Apika Sharma, it's always, I've heard you guys speak earlier also, and it's always enlightening and very encouraging listening to you guys, evoking those spirits, those encouragement, inculcating, the spirit of empowerment within, among the women. So, to start with Dr. Apika Sharma, it was great listening to you where you have mentioned about women, involvement of women in policy making. Surely this is one area where we have to work upon, but I must say that India is doing really well, and all thanks to you that you brought in all the examples where the women have been contributing. But and wonders that Indian women are doing when it comes to policy making. So hats off to them. Also, when I heard Dr. Aditi Narayani speaking, it's very rightly said that it's deeply ingrained in us. Deconstructing the idea of equality, that is very important. We academicians, when we start thinking about it or writing on it, we reflect or we go back to those examples, and we take examples right from seeing what is happening at our home. So yes, it's very true that how you've cited the example, getting up early in the morning and seeing what work are you assigned to do and what your partner is assigned to do. So that has to be somewhere down the lane. If we have seen that happening in our family, it's high time that we have to break those barriers. It's time that we have to take a step, take a move, where whatever we have seen in our family has to change now. And that will happen when you will be vocal about it. It's not about women raising their voice for equality, or women being criticized for what is not acceptable. Why those concepts? Basically, it's about equality. Very rightly said that it's about deconstructing the idea of equality. So today, as we celebrate the International Women's Day, it's about recognizing the resilience, strength, and achievement of women worldwide, basically, because we see that women have shattered barriers. They have redefined leadership, and they have contributed immensely to society in any field that you today if you give a look of any area, any field where you would like to see that the presence of women have been there or not, they have done wonders. So however, gender inequality remains a challenge, basically, and we must continue advocating for equal opportunity, basically, in terms of education, empowerment itself is something where you don't have to. Why do we talk about women empowerment? I mean, why? I mean, is it that you are differentiating something? Talking about women empowerment so much itself says that you are somehow, differentiating at a certain level. So let's not, let's remind everyone that a woman deserves the same, status as other individual. So it's basically that we are talking about, there's a call for gender equality, basically. So today, as we have gathered and as we are speaking about women empowerment, let's not look, or let's not criticize the fact that how women have suffered, or how, let's take it in a very positive note, that the leadership quality that women are carrying forward, and what are the areas, or how the how what are the initiatives, be it from the government policy, or the initiatives taken by a lot of organization. What are the moves which can be brought in order to break that barriers? Because we know at the grassroots level it's very difficult to change the mentality. It's very difficult. I know when my domestic helper, when she comes to help me at home, she has totally a different a thought process which cannot be changed. So it's time to the awareness program has to be strengthened. It's time to educate them. वो थप्पड़ मार दिया तो वो तो ठीक है, वो जो mentality है ना, वो हटाना बहुत मुश्किल है. We have to work on that. We genuinely have to work on that. So it's time to come together, get united, and work on those areas where we have failed to work till date. Coming here, 10 of us speaking on it, well and fine, but we have to take serious initiative where there are thousands of people who are still struggling. So that's all. Policy making is a wonderful area, but from the grassroots, it has to start from the grassroots. That's all. Thank you so much.
Is asking what changes do you believe can bring more gender inclusivity in India's workforce? Aditi, Apika, would you like to put your perspective? Yeah, quick one.
Hi, Charu. Thank you for this question. So I I I would like to firstly point one thing, that when it comes to policy making, India has the best brains in the world when it comes to policy making. The point is not that the right policies are not there from the beginning. The point is that we already have the right policies from the beginning, but the implementation of those policies, I think it doesn't happen in the right way, whether it is gender inclusivity or any other policy related to financial inclusion or anything else. So when we don't see results at the ground level, it is not that we don't have those policies. We already have those policies. We don't need policy changes unless the already devised policies are implemented properly in this country. So when our policy failure happens in India, only because there is no accountability of the policies that are already existing in the country. So once we define accountability, and that accountability, I'd really like to point this, that accountability is generated in a democracy only when the citizens are aware of the fact that they are living in a democracy and they need to question whatever wrong is happening and that is coming in front of you. So when a policy failure happens in a country like India, it is also because of the failure of the people not pointing out to those people, not questioning them. So every time there is a movement in India, say for example when there was a Anna Hazare movement in India, the people there on the actionable side of it, the people who implement those policies, they are pushed to do the work in the right direction. In India, why policy failure happens is because our people at the ground level, from the bottoms up approach, the people do not question it in the right way. So a sense of collectivity is needs to be generated when it comes to any policy. So when it comes to a gender policy, again, how Aditi ma'am pointed that we need to be collectively together. So a sense of collectivity in women, once we generate that, you know once you raise the voice and there is a movement, the policy itself gets implemented. So when you ask about changes, we do not need changes. We already have great minds in policy making, but those policies that are already existing, they need to be implemented in the right way, and we are the ones who need to get them implemented in the right way.
Thank you, Apika. Thank you. And yes, in this webinar, I also see Professor Tanveer ji from Ramjas College, University of Delhi. Tanveer sir, greetings to you from SPM College. Thank you so much. Tanveer sir, if you are there, would you like to share quick 1 minute remark on Women's Day? It's always a delight to hear from you on policy. And students, we all have been seeing Tanveer sir making important interventions in the media on various student-related issues from ragging to others. तनवीर सर वेलकम, स्वागत आपका। कुछ अगर कुछ 30 सेकंड 1 मिनट में अगर आप कुछ हमारी छात्राओं के लिए कहना चाहें।
Thank you so much. No, I just joined in because I thought that I would learn something from you all. Yeah, nice to hear from everyone about this important day and the things that. I cannot open my video. Can you hear me?
Yes sir, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah, so great. I mean, I was there in the other webinar, and the moment I finished, so I just joined. I remember that, yes, of course, I had to join. Good to hear. Yeah. So, today I posted on my Facebook. There's a post that I I have posted. That says that I mean, just 1% of the property is owned by a woman of this world. So I think it's very important to understand that why women can't own property, and the kind of the the work which doesn't get remunerated. So I think one has to think on this International Women's Day. I think one will have to think about the kind of work that they do. The focus of feminism, of course, must now, I think, go to the kind of work that women do and the kind of remuneration that they get. And why can't they own the means of production? For instance, why only men can own the means of production? Why women can't own the means of production? You just look at the data, and there's so much of informal in India. Also, you see so much of informality, right? 90% of it's there you have informal sector, and within the informal sector also you see how much women are working over there particularly, and they're also not getting remunerated for their work. So So I think these are some of the more important thoughts on feminism and on Women's Day. Second, I always think about, what Aditi talked about, solidarity is I think one will have to be very clear about this, that what kind of solidarity one is looking forward to, and what are the aims and objectives of that solidarity. Solidarity in itself is a very abstract and very vague concept, because suppose you have uh, I think a rich woman and a poor woman, how can they come together, in solidarity? You may say that they might be having the same problems, let's say of domestic violence or maybe of patriarchy, but at the end of the day, there are psychological and sociological differences, I think, which needs to be very clear. For example, Dalit feminism, how does it define itself? Which feminism that does it sort of try to build up solidarity with? Can Dalit feminism afford to build solidarity with conservative, right-wing, nationalist feminism? Is it possible? If yes, then I think one will have to think about the whole idea of solidarity and sisterhood also. So some of the thoughts, random thoughts which came to my mind, I just said, but happy International Women's Day, and I think we all need to build up a society where it's our responsibility also that we build up a society where we have sort of equal distribution of property, equal distribution of happiness, equal distribution of liberty and equality. Yeah, so thank you so much, Amna, for giving me this opportunity.
धन्यवाद अनुतन्वी sir. Thank you. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
Amna,
And can we, Charu, Harshita says, how would you like to see the changes in the education system to empower women? And let me tell you, Harshita, the very bright student of BLEd, Liberal Education, Pol Science. Anubhuti says, ma'am, how do you see education shaping role of women in leadership? Then Aditi is talking about her suggestions how to achieve gender inclusivity morally too, other than financial strata. Bhumishka, again, a very bright student, बहुत ही bright छात्रा हैं from BA program, Indian Foreign Policy paper. She's saying that she's finding herself dissolving into the roles of daughter or sister or friend, but I want to develop a relationship with myself. How do I develop a relationship myself in a society where women is expected to fulfill everyone's expectations? Very deep questions, but Aditi ji, if you can just take a quick one here, summing up everyone, and after that we go for the group photograph. Aditi ji, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, Amna ma'am. And thank you so much, Tanvi sir, for your food for thought. And absolutely regarding the Dalit scholarship, which I've been working for almost a decade now, it doesn't find its space in the feminist scholarship, which has been there in India, or even if we talk about globally. It still needs to create that niche that it needs to be addressed. And people who have been writing about feminist scholarship, they generally feel that talking about the nuance or the intersectional identity is going to weaken the feminist scholarship. But yeah, taking your thought, and hopefully we'll meet someday and you can guide me further on how to develop my thought on this. But thank you so much for the comment. And coming to the beautiful students that we have, I'll start with Bhumishika. I'm so sorry with your name. Her, it is difficult. Definitely, it's a very difficult thing that all of us are overburdened with this idea of the multiple roles that we have to play in our life. But you need to be strong in yourself. You need to have that confidence. You need to have your own identity. You need to be very strong. That you need to be, when you start your day, that you need to clarify that first it's me, my individual self, and I need to work for myself. And if you're confident and you have created your own identity, that is the only time that you can justify your different roles. Till the time you are not comfortable in your skin, and let me tell you that you really cannot balance or juggle between these roles. And sometimes when you feel that you're not able to do that, it is, as I said, it's absolutely fine. No need to feel miserable about that I'm not able to do this, I'm not able to do that. Sit back, contemplate, think, and talk to people. By sisterhood, I meant that talk to people that I'm not able to do. Let me tell you that what you are going through, thousands of women of your age and young girls are going through the same thing. So when you talk about your problems with other people also, that this is one thing where I feel that I'm not able to give my best, and then they tell you, that's when it gives you that more, that it boosts your confidence for your existence. So that's the first thing. And I'm sure you're doing exceptionally well in all the roles that have been assigned to you, but you need to decide which role is the first and most priority, and that is you. Second, regarding morality also, as I said, that morality and spiritual empowerment is a very next stage of empowerment. In a country like India, we're still struggling with social, political, and others economic empowerment. But once we have climbed up the stairs of these empowerment, then comes our morality also. Before that, we need to be emotionally very strong, mentally very strong, and prioritize ourselves and give importance to ourselves, our existence, and our identity. Once you're comfortable with all these things, let me tell you, it's very easy to achieve all the things. And once you're comfortable, then only you can actually justify and balance the role. If you're not, if that confidence ki kami is there, you're not able to do that. Every time that those insecurities, societal insecurities, apna mental constructs ka insecurities is just going to pull you down. How we have academia, education is the most important thing. We all celebrate Savitribai Phule, and everybody, they have said that education is the first step which you need to get hold of it. If you don't have education, if you don't, then you're not aware what are your rights, you're not aware ki what are you capable of. Education gives you that avenue to explore your individual self. So education is the first and foremost parameter that you need to achieve in your life. If you want to be a leader, you want to be a policy leader, anything, without education nothing can be achieved. What is one change you would like to see in the education system? I would definitely want more and more women to come into research. All the books, whenever I flip through the pages, it really I feel deeply hurt that major readings that all of us have been written by men. It's an androcentric world, everything has been written by men. Where do we find? So that's the one thing which really pinches me. But as I'm sure all of us are coming up, Apika is coming with I'm sure very intelligent policies, and she's going to write these policy papers. All of us have to come up, because women are lacking, and women are lacking because of the barriers, those structural barriers which are there in place. And we need to come out of those barriers, and that is the one time when we can come out of those barriers and be a achiever. And achievement is also very multilateral concept. There's no one unilateral thing to it. I think my time is up. All of you can have my number, and whenever you feel low or anything, you can give me a call. I'm always here for you.
Yeah, we have your number, and we would invite you also in person, because it's always good to meet Aditi and Sanjeev ji with our important work. And मैं students को ये बताना चाहती हूँ कि यदि आप शोध research के विभिन्न dimensions में interested हैं, you must learn from the important works.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. So, as Vice President of Politia, it is my privilege to extend heartfelt gratitude to all who made this lecture on Women's Day so enriching and inspiring. A sincere thanks to Professor Sadhna Sharma ma'am, our patron and principal, for her constant support and encouragement. Dr. Aditi Narayani ma'am, our chief guest, for her powerful insights on political awareness and social change. Dr. Apika Sharma ma'am, for her thought-provoking perspectives on gender and social construction. Dr. Neha Sinha ma'am, for her in-depth insights to understand women's role in governance. Professor Tanveer sir's view also helped us to understand role of women in caste construction. So because we have limited time, so I have to limit my words also. Otherwise, I would love to mention how encouraged and empowered I felt after listening to our esteemed speakers. So they have provided us with valuable knowledge, sparking new perspective, provided us with perspectives on gender, leadership, and empowerment. Their words have not only enlightened us but also encouraged us to question, learn, and contribute meaningfully to the society. And Dr. Amna Mirza ma'am, our moderator, for seamlessly steering this discussion and making it even more encouraging. A special thanks to Dr. Kiran Tripathi ma'am and Dr. Sanjeev Kumar sir for their guidance, and to all the faculty members, students, and attendees for their active participation. On this Women's Day, let's carry forward these learnings, celebrate the strength of every woman, and continue working towards an inclusive and empowered future. Wishing you all a happy Women's Day.